Welcome back, everybody, to the Cowboy Slot Channel Wednesday Slots Advanced Show. Here we are, your hosts, Brantley and Mark. Welcome, everybody, and a very special thank you to our moderators, Tammy, Susan, and Dave. We really appreciate you guys, and we appreciate each and every one of you for being in here today. Of course, this is going to be a Q&A session, so you guys can come in and ask your questions. We'll be happy to answer those for you. As a reminder, this is the advanced show, so we will prioritize those advanced questions first. And as always, guys, if you ever do have any questions, if we happen to miss your question at all today, because these streams do get very busy, or you have additional questions that you might have thought of after, you can always visit our website at ropethejackpot.com/chat, where you can ask your questions 24/7. And you can even talk to locals in your area if you're looking for a particular machine or trying to find a local casino that you haven't yet been to. Also, before we move on today, do not forget to register for our special event that we have coming up in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be on April 16th at the Seven Feathers Casino in Canyonville, Oregon. We're going to be doing a live Q&A seminar where you guys can come in and ask your questions live, also do a meet and greet. Going to have a lot of fun activities and stuff planned. Entry is 100% free, but you do have to register, so make sure to head on over to our website, ropethejackpot.com, click on the events tab, and you can register for a ticket there. All right, the Q&A is now open, guys, so welcome to the show. We'll go ahead and we will start taking your questions, and we'll hand it off to Mark to go ahead and take our first question.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Brantley. And how's everybody doing tonight? I hope we have a really good show. So start asking your questions now, and we will go as long as we need to. Well, within reason, right? All right, Brent Baker says, howdy, y'all. You have an outstanding knowledge base you have accumulated through your job experiences. Yes. Is there a menu, diagram, or flow chart that is available for the key config 1 and 2 settings? Yes, Brent, I actually went and looked because I remember this being on newlifegames.com. And so I created a link for you. If you go to ropethejackpot.com/S2000, it'll take you right to the page that has the PDF as well as the diagrams and everything. So it's pretty cool. And that'll show you every single configuration option on the S2000. So, yeah, go take a look at that, ropethejackpot.com/S2000. Well, thank you, Brent. And Craig Strang says, is it possible to put $1 in a slot machine and make a high limit bet? And Slot says, Wager Saver, that you can make a high wager on a slot with only betting $1. Yes, you can certainly do this. And we have seen other YouTubers do this kind of strategy before. Just remember one thing. The winning wedge is going to be smaller the further away you are from the bet size. So if it's a $100 bet and you're only betting $1 or putting $1 on the line, that wedge is going to be very small, and it's basically a 99% chance you're not going to get the Wager Saver. But you can do it. I mean, I've seen people do it for a very long time. So yeah, that's definitely possible. You can certainly do it. All right, and I'll hand it on back to you, Brantley.
Very good questions. All right. Orlando says, does the cabinet make any difference in the game? Use of digital reels versus physical reels? No, it will not. Again, if every other aspect of the game is the same, so if you've got a triple diamond game, because they do make triple diamond in both digital, like on the G23 that's behind Mark over there, or a triple diamond that's physical reels. As long as the game is the same, it's going to play out the same regardless of what cabinets it's in, be it digital or having physical reels. Very good question. And Connie asks, are Canadian and American machines the same? Yes, they are. Again, the same game, the same build type. Yes, so a triple stars machine in the United States is going to act the same as a triple stars machine that is in Canada or Australia or anywhere else in the world. This is why we tell you guys to really focus on volatility, because volatility is how the game itself is built and how the game itself is designed. So no matter where it goes in the world, no matter what settings get put on the machine, payback percentage, whatever, that game is going to act the same. So that's why when we say to focus on the volatility of a game, that's what is really key and really important. And so to answer your question, yes, they would be the exact same. Very good questions, guys.
All right, and I'm just going through your questions while you guys are asking them. Looking really good, so keep it up. Thank you so much. And Vero says, what's a good slot to play for beginners for fun and can play for a while? Wow, that is a loaded question. You know what? If it really depends on where you are. If you can get to Las Vegas, I would say the Cherries Jubilee is a good, fun first game to play, hands
Yeah,
down. It's a
absolutely.
lot of fun, lots of anticipation and excitement, and a pretty good chance of winning. Those are probably the ones I would start with. But if you're not in Las Vegas, I would say, and Brantley, I want your opinion on this too. I would say probably if you could find a 5 line double diamond or triple diamond or triple stars, the 5 line version, I think that's a good balance between fun as well as good opportunity to hit something. So that's where I would start. Brantley, what about you?
I would definitely agree. If you're wanting to play, for a good beginner slot machine, obviously the Cherries Jubilee, like Mark said, is going to be the best. Now, those are only available at MGM Grand in Las Vegas. So if you're in Las Vegas or going to Las Vegas, check those out. The reason being is they hit those progressives literally so many times a day. I mean, usually multiple times in an hour. So they're very very easy to obtain those progressives. You get that same thrill of hitting a jackpot. You can get the three symbols on the line very easily. Usually with minimal amount of money, so that's definitely a great game to play. And as Mark said, the 5 line triple double, triple stars, triple diamonds, stuff like that, those are also good because they can really give you a good opportunity. And also, the other one I would probably recommend would be like the Ainsworth must hit by progressives. Those would be a good one because you can play still all available lines. Usually minimum bets, like you can do like five lines at $1 each, so $5 bet, and the bonuses on it are really really good, and you still have that potential to get those progressives. So those are the ones that I would really recommend. Very good question. We do have a $10 super sticker coming in from Andrea here. Andrea, thank you very much for that. The super stickers are greatly appreciated. We really thank you for that, and thank you guys for all that you do here for the channel. All right. And Willie asks, is there any difference between casino boats slash cruises than going to a regular casino? Again, kind of like the same, almost the same answer as the Canada question. The machines are going to be the exact same. The machines aren't going to be any different in and of themselves. Now the settings could be a little bit different, but that's not something that you're going to notice in the short term. So again, even with cruises, focus on the type of game that you're playing, the volatility of the game. Look for those lower volatile games first. We always recommend starting out with those, unless of course you are working with a higher budget or you've won. Then you can of course go to the higher volatile games if that's what you enjoy. But no, the machines themselves are not going to be any different. Very good question though.
All right. And Roberto has a question. I saw someone in a hold and spin bonus on a link when there was a progressive controller disconnect error and the bank of machines froze up. So we talk about this. I always bring this box up. This is a progressive controller here. And this basically interfaces with all the machines that are linked to a progressive. And if this goes down for whatever reason, it freezes or there's a disconnect on the cable or whatever, it will lock the machines up because those are required to feed into the progressive controller. So if it loses connection with this, the machines lock up. I could almost, well, I'm not going to do it in here, but I could show you that if I pulled one of these out, the machine would just tilt and basically sit there unplayable until it resumes connection with this. So yeah, that can happen. Usually it corrects itself after a few minutes. If it doesn't, a technician's going to have to come out and see what's going on with the progressive. But yeah, if there's a progressive linked machine, it has to stop. It has to freeze itself in order to resume that progressive once it gets reestablished, for example. So very good question there, Roberto. And W. Sue says, the new mechanical horses that race around on oval, is that random number generator? Yeah, that is definitely controlled by a random number generator. There are new ones. There are some old ones. I think the D still has one of the old original ones that was in MGM Grand for a very long time with the little mechanical horses that run around. You just basically wager on the horse and hope your number gets picked. But that's all there is to it. There's not anything you could do and like research the jockey or anything like that. It's just a random number that's firing out who's going to be the winner and not. So very good question there, W. Sue. And back to you, Brantley.
All right. We do have a $50 super chat from Maria. Maria, thank you very much. We really do appreciate
You're so
that.
awesome.
Maria asks, hey guys, since the slot machine spins are independent and the program is written to use RNGs, does it make sense to keep moving to other slot machines if you are not hitting on the machine you enjoy? So first of all, again, thank you very much for the super chat. I think the key word in that question is going to be the very last two words that you used, that you enjoy. every single machine, again, because we know the machines do not run hot or cold. We know that for a fact. So you can technically hit on any machine at any time. You know, you might be sitting there playing it and it's nothing, 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 and then all of a sudden, boom, you hit the jackpot. Or you could walk up to a new machine and hit the jackpot in the first spin. It really comes down to the enjoyment factor. So I always use the example of pinball for me because I love the game of pinball. If there's only one or two pinball machines in the casino that I'm playing at, even if I'm losing, I'll probably still stay on it because that's what I enjoy. Um, does it make sense to keep moving to other slot machines? Really, it is all based on your enjoyability factor. 100% based on the enjoyability factor. Mark, I don't know. Do you want to add any more to that?
No, that's perfect. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, just you can stay at the same machine all day long if you wanted to. It's not going to make any difference if you get up. But taking those breaks and ending that round of frustration is probably a good idea. Kind of reset yourself, go for a walk or something, and then come back and tackle it again. It doesn't change your odds or anything like that, but it allows you to kind of reset so you're not just having such a terrible time where it seems like a machine. Your timing is just not working. So get up, take a walk, come back, try again.
Exactly. Very good. All right. Chris has a question here. The new fad of the three colored pots that fill and offer bonuses, are the bonuses random or does that actually, the growing and the filling animation mean anything? So, very good question. The animations on those pots, any pot, any bag, any pig, anything like that, firecrackers, whatever it may be, it is purely just a visual. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Those bonuses are random and they can trigger at any point in time. Now, there are some games out there where if you're betting a higher amount, it can trigger the bonus more frequently. But again, that percentage is usually very, very small. Do not ever get wrapped up in those pots or bowls or pigs or anything. It is 100% a psychological trap. I can definitely tell you that 100% a psychological trap on that one. And Emmanuel says, for gambling for fun, what would you prefer,
Oh
pinball
man.
or top dollar? Oh no, here we go. You know what? Truthfully, I enjoy both. I really do enjoy both. The pinball bonus does typically yield a lot more than the top dollar bonus does, but top dollar usually triggers more frequently than the pinball bonus does. For fun and enjoyment, I would say either, to be honest, but if I had to choose one, would probably be pinball, and I know Mark would be top dollar. All
Absolutely.
right, all right. And speaking of Mark, I'll hand it back to you.
All right, sounds good. We got a couple of new members here. Sherry Anderson, thank you so much for joining. And we hope to see you next Monday on Members Monday. And also, we have another one from Harold Roberts. Thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. We really appreciate it, guys. All right, let's get back to some questions here. And X-Ray 0604 says, can you explain bingo style level 2 machines more in depth? How is it bingo based? And who are you playing bingo against? Other players, the house, etc. So it's kind of, but the last answer to your question is kind of both. So you are playing against the house because the house is the mechanism that is pulling the bingo numbers. But you're also playing against other players that are on the same bingo call that you're currently on the machine that you're playing. It could be the person next to you. It could be somebody way across the other side of the casino that's on the same bingo card as you are. And the idea there is that once you hit a bingo pattern, that person can't hit that pattern at the same time. So you are kind of playing against other people. It gets really complicated really fast, and it's nothing that we can really talk about in one live stream. But we've done several videos recently where we talk about what the bingo card looks like, how the numbers match, what the patterns mean, what the payouts mean, all that kind of thing. So if you go back in our library, I think about 2 weeks ago, there was a video that we did about how that bingo card actually works. And that was part of our build-up method video that we did at WinStar. So go check that one out for more information about what that bingo card is actually doing. And just to follow that up, Dorothy Porter says, what are red screen machines? Those are class 2 bingo machines. And all red screens mean is that you're getting free respins. And it means that you had multiple pattern hits on that card that you were dealt. So that's what's going on there. And one more, and I'll hand it on back to you, Brantley. Bullet Bill says, I heard people yesterday say that old machines, you were able to stop them easily and get easy hand pays. How? No. Even if you're able to stop a machine, you cannot control the output once the reel starts spinning. That is just not possible. It's never been possible. You cannot have any kind of manipulation over the machine once you press that spin button, because the decision has already been made by the system, the logic unit in the slot machine. So there's nothing you can do. People swear that they're able to see the bonus symbol come down and stop it real quick. It's already decided. You're going to see the real jump and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. So even on the older machines, in fact, a lot of the older machines, you can't even do that. It's not even possible. So yeah, no, you can't control the output, unfortunately. All right, back to you, Brantley.
Very good. All right, Lori Mack says, do casinos vary with winning machines? Some casinos give me jackpots, others just take my donation. So, again, kind of a loaded question here, but no. So, slot machines, here's the biggest thing that is really difficult for a lot of people to understand, which, I mean, very much so. But slot machines are truly a random event. It all has to do with, a matter of right place, right time, right hit of the button. What I like to talk about when people compare one casino to another is always keep something in mind, that no single person is ever at a casino 24/7, 365 to observe the entire operations of that casino. There are several times that you might go to a particular casino and you might think you're not winning anything or the casino's tight or whatever, but you're not able to see everything else that's going on in that building. It's always funny because you could have, you could stand outside of a casino with a microphone and you could interview every single person that comes out of that casino. And person A might come out and say, "This casino's so tight, I never win." And then person B could come out and say, "I've won the biggest jackpots of my life here." The actual casino really does not matter. It's all the type of machines that you pick to play, and that's the biggest thing. Can casinos have various payback percentages? They can, but again, that is a very long-term projection. It's something that you're not going to notice in the short term of your visit, and it's not something that you should be wrapped up on. I have, just for example, my pinball machine right here. I have this pinball machine set at the absolute highest it can possibly go in terms of odds. Absolute highest. I have never hit the double, double, double on it, and I've never hit all five in the bottom on it. And it is set at the absolute max highest it can possibly go. So it's all about the types of machines that you're picking. It has nothing to do with the settings of the casino or anything like that. So just always keep that in mind. Just watch what machines you're playing as opposed to trying to figure out what the number of the casino is, because it can vary so much. And Dorothy asks, won a recent jackpot on a 2-4 times machine. Should I continue to play it? If you enjoy it, again, we go back to gambling is for entertainment. If that is your form of entertainment and that is something that you want to invest your money in for entertainment, then, of course you can continue to play it. Should you try to chase the same jackpot or something better? No. You really shouldn't. I would recommend, if you are going to continue to play it, to set some money aside. Make sure that you go home with money. And then again, the multiplier games like the 2-4-5, 2-3-5, 2-3-4, those games are a little bit higher in volatility. So I would just be a little bit cautious with those. Again, not try to chase those top line jackpots or anything like that. But very good questions, guys. Thank you.
All right, and 1967 Camaro versus World. Hey, Annie and Steve, how you doing? What is the average for a progressive hit on the Cherries Jubilee? I haven't hit it in a long while. I don't know what the average hit is, but it's kind of all over the place. My host said that most of them almost always hit before they hit the 1200 mark, but I would take that at face value. I think we've seen some go a little bit higher than that. It's just the same odds every time you spin, but they just go more frequently than others. And yeah, you can't always win at them. We know that, right? But that one night we were there, everybody was hitting. It was pretty crazy. So that was fun. And then Brandon says, does the random number generator pool that the slot chooses from change depending on coin in, coin out to balance RTP percentage account settings? Or does the default pay table balance itself for RTP percent over time? So the second thing you said is what's true there. Again, I think every live show we mention this, but it's good because you guys got to get this really drilled into your head because it's difficult. Every spin on a slot machine is a completely separate, independent event. It does not look back into the history to see what it has done in the past. That's not how slot machines work. So just because you saw a bunch of people feeding the machine thousands and thousands of dollars does not make that machine due to start paying off for the next person that comes in and starts putting money in. That's not how they work. They all work based off of math. It's just pure math at the end of the day of balancing out. So every single spin, random number generator picks from certain virtual table symbols, and that is how they can control the payback percentage over 10 million or so pulls. But it does not actively balance. It doesn't look back and say, I got to start paying jackpots because I've taken in too much money. And that is really difficult for the human brain to understand. Even us, like Brantley and I know that, but we still go in there thinking, man, we got to get a bonus soon on this thing because it's just been eating our money alive. We still think that. So we understand that you guys go through that, but we're here to tell you with 100% absolute certainty that is how slot machines work. It's every single spin is completely separate and independent from the previous spin. So very good question there, Brandon. Hopefully I was able to answer that for you. And Linda H has a question. Do you know the frequency of random major jackpots hitting? What makes them hit? That really depends on the machine. Every machine that has a jackpot is going to be different. Now, here's the thing. A machine that is lower in volatility is more likely to hit a jackpot, the top line symbol win, than a machine that is high in volatility. So let's do a perfect example here. Let's say we have a double diamond and we have a 5 times pay. Okay, they're both 3 real games. They're both classic real games. The top win on a 1 credit bet on the double diamond is 800 credits. Okay, but the top win on the 5 times pay is something like 2,500 credits or 3,000 credits on a single coin. So the top jackpot, if you want to call that the jackpot, is much easier to hit on the double diamond because it's lower. It's closer to the relation of your bet size. Whereas the 5 times pay is much further away, so that one is harder to hit. And then you have 10 times pay, which goes even higher. It's like 10,000 credits. And then 12 times pay is 14,000 credits, you know? So those are the hardest ones to hit. So it really depends on the machine, but there is no way to tell, like, overall frequency of when jackpots are going to hit. Machines can be put in service. I am sure there are 10 times pay machines out there that have never hit the 10, 10, 10. It could definitely be possible. There's nothing saying that a slot machine has to pay that top line jackpot. It's just that the odds and the probability of something like that hitting on a 10 times pay is so low that it's possible it will never hit. Whereas on a double diamond, it's much lower and it's way more probable to hit on that machine. So that's a good clue. If you're wanting to hit that top line jackpot, look to see what it is and how far away it is from your bet size. And that'll give you a good indication of how frequent that's going to be. All right, back to you, Brantley.
Absolutely. We do have a $9.99 super chat here from Erica. Erica, thank you very much for that. Thank you for the advice on $1 denom 5-line triple double stars. A couple weeks ago, I played it twice with $100, doubled my money. Should I try to get 100 spins out of any slot that I play? Very good question. So 100 spins is usually what I go for. It's a pretty safe number if you're looking for number of spins, which again, always utilize that 1% rule. So like if you are, if you're playing, a $5 denomination slot machine at $5 a spin, you want to bring with you $500, use that rule. Should you try to get 100 spins out of a slot? I would. I mean, that would probably be a safe bet for me. That's what I would recommend. And also, guys, just to let you know, we do have a lot of you in here right now and a lot of questions coming in. Really do appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Obviously, there's almost 400 of you in here and 2 of us, so it's not always possible for us to get to every single question, but stick around because we are still moving through questions best as we can. But just as a reminder, you can always utilize our website. It's 100% free to use, ropethejackpot.com/chat, and you can ask questions at any point in time. So moving right along here from Dennis, are the Majestic Lions and MGM Grand similar to Cherry's Jubilee in volatility? I see them hit a lot too, and they are nearby. Yes, they are similar in volatility. It's basically just a different game at a higher denomination. And Harold asks, do slot machines have an accounting record for each individual denomination, or is it just one for them all? Good question. They have an accounting record for each individual denomination. Each denomination is programmed separately. So on a multi-denomination game, it is essentially like picking a whole nother slot machine when you change your denominations. So yes, they are going to have separate accounting records for those. And Dawn Marie Parker, hello, I was wondering why my casinos here in AZ are class 3 when they are tribal owned. Well, so the thing is tribes do not have to be class 2. They can be class 3 if the state allows it. So in the state of Arizona, all of the tribes there are they're class 3 tribes. They're class 3 gaming. So if you play slots in Arizona, you're going to get class 3 Vegas style regular slot machines. The only casino that for a while was class 2 was Desert Diamond. Desert Diamond was class 2 up until they moved into their larger resort facilities. So when they were in their temporary facility, they were operating under a class 2 certification. Now they are under class 3 certification. But yes, all of the casinos in Arizona are class 3. So very good questions, guys. We'll keep it moving, and I'll hand it back to Mark.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys. And like Kathy says, take a minute, smash that thumbs up, guys. We really appreciate that. We want to try to get as many people educated because smart gamblers always end up with more money in their pocket at the end of the day, and that's what our goal is. And so the only way we can get the word out is for you guys to spread it around, share it, give us a thumbs up, and get more people in here so they can become better gamblers just like you guys are. So thank you so much, Kathy, for reminding all us to do that. We really appreciate it. And if you're on your mobile phone, if you just click the X on the live chat, it will pull down the live chat temporarily, and you can hit the thumbs up button then you can go right back to the live chat. So, all right, that out of the way, let's get back to some questions. And let's see. Vero says, newbie here. Hey, welcome. What's a good electronic slot machine? LOL. I told you I was a rookie. Hey, that's okay. We try to help everybody here. We would probably point you towards the Ainsworth machines. We talk about those a lot. And the way you can spot these out is they usually have two must-hit by numbers, progressive numbers on the top somewhere. Mustang Money, Eagle Bucks, Thunder Cash, the Enforcer. Those are probably the four most popular ones out there. There's some other ones. There's a Ninja one. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, look for those. Those are really good electronic games. Those are ones that we play. One of the very, very few electronic games that we play. And that's a good place to start. And by the way, we talk about them in dollars, but there are some out there that are in quarters. I just got back from WinStar a couple weeks ago. They had plenty in quarters, and they even have some in nickels. So, don't feel like you need to start at the dollar. You can find those in some of the smaller hotels and casinos will have the quarters or even cheaper than that. So start with those. I think you'll do really well. And Debbie says, hey, guys, love the channel and helpful advice. Well, you're welcome. Have you ever thought of having Team Top Dollar or Team Pinball t-shirts and hats in your store? It's funny you mentioned that because we were just talking about this the other day. I think you've been talking to my wife. That's what I think. No, we're talking about something like that. It's been a running joke between us, but I think we need to take it to the next level and be a little bit serious on. Top Dollar is clearly the better game, so we need to do. We need to get t-shirts and hats out there to prove it.
There's only one issue with doing that is obviously it would have to be a collaborated effort with IGT. We have a great relationship with IGT, but Top Dollar and Pinball, that obviously is trademarked for them, so we would have to have an agreement with them to be able to resell merchandise with their logo on it, which who knows, maybe that that's something that we could always discuss in the future. But that's probably the biggest issue with doing that. Can't put other companies' logos on a T-shirt and sell them. That's no go. You can get in trouble for that.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Oh, go ahead, Brantley.
Brandon has a question here. Are bonus games, free spins, hold and spin features predetermined outcomes from triggering them, or can timing the spins do anything? So, free spins and hold and spin are not predetermined outcomes. Each of those spins is going to be entirely independent of another. It's not going to have previous knowledge of what the last spin was or what the next spin is going to be. That's free spins. Now, pick feature bonuses where you're having to, pick coins to match or pick 3 coins, something like that. Those are predetermined. But actual spins and including like the hold and spins, those are not predetermined in and of themselves. So I hope that makes sense. And Matthew says, does double diamond pinball have the same volatility as regular double diamond? Very good question. The answer to this is no. Regular double diamond is going to have a lower volatility than double diamond with pinball attached to it. Anytime that you attach a bonus round, that's going to increase the volatility level of that game. It's not going to be by much, but it's adding another stop to the physical reels. It's adding another stop to the virtual reels. So it is going to be slightly higher in volatility when we're talking about regular double diamond compared to pinball with Double Diamond. And Tiki Gods 6_1. What do you think is the best casino in Arizona? Very good question. So I've been to actually all of them in Arizona, from the northernmost to the southernmost in Tucson, Sahuarita, Phoenix, all of them. I would say that the best casino in Arizona in terms of slot machines is going to be Casino Arizona, which is located off of the 101 in McKellips, over there near between Scottsdale Mesa area. Casino Arizona is what I think would be the best one. They have a really good selection of machines. They have a really good mix of denominations, and they also have other great things at that resort as well, such as really good restaurants. They have a wonderful bingo hall, and a great staff. So that's what I would recommend would be Casino Arizona.
All right, very good. And Unky Kai has a question. Hi guys, I just got 2 slots and they had a ticket in, ticket out installed. The Tito prints tickets fine, but has a lot of trouble reading tickets. It won't read a lot of them. Experienced this issue before. Yes, I have that problem here. There's 2 things. One, try putting the ticket in upside down. These actually can be programmed to only read one side of it, and sometimes it's upside down. I don't know why that is. You can reprogram them. You need special software. You need to plug it in your computer and all that kind of stuff. But the other thing is it might just need to be cleaned. And if you do have an MEI cash flow, the yellow ones, you can just pull this handle and lift up, and you can look inside here and take like rubbing alcohol and just wipe this off here and then wipe off down here where the glass is. Those are the 2 things that the lasers are actually shooting through. And if those get dirty, it'll have a hard time reading it. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit with that issue. Sometimes it's just a problem. I don't know. But that's what I would try. And Coyote Concentrate says, do you get tiered credits from free play? Most of the time, no. Free play is like dead spins, essentially, in the sense of earning comps, because that is your comp, right? Your comp is the free play. They're not going to let you double dip and earn even more free play off of the free play. So, no, tier credits usually get frozen whenever you're using free play. But very good question. And just another one just to follow that up. Dennis says, do I have the same choice in odds with free play versus coin in? Yes, you do. Use that free play. Do not let it go because you're afraid you're never going to get winning spins. When it comes to the logic portion of the machine and how it picks what's about to happen, it does not care how the money or credits were entered into the machine. So just keep that in mind. All right, back to you, Brantley.
Very good. Yeah, guys, don't be afraid to use that free play. People win jackpots all the time off of it. I mean, if you go to Stacy's High Limit Slots and look at her channel, she's won countless jackpots off of free play, which is the best. And we'll probably do a video in the next, probably later half of next month about the best ways to convert free play over to cash. We'll probably do a video on that and show you guys some different methods that we like to use that work for us. All right. Linda H. So we have a Linda K and a Linda H in here now. Linda H says, on the Dragon Link machines, do you know what triggers a random major to hit? What are the frequencies of those hittings? Again, it's entirely random on that when it does hit. What are the frequencies? I would have to look at the par sheet to give an exact answer on that. But I'm sure that there is a frequency rate, but I'm sure it's not very high, especially with it being on Dragon Link. But no, it can just trigger at random with those. Very good question. And then KTB, is there a difference in volatility between the single line pinball and the new multi-line pinball where you need 3 bonuses to land on a pay line? Yes, there is a pretty substantial difference in volatility on those. Now, I will say this. So the new pinball, we're talking about the pinball double gold that has the multiple lines where you have to get 3 symbols to land. It is going to be higher in volatility. However, it's kind of a smoother ride, so to speak, where it does give you, like kind of small wins along the way here and there. Bonus frequency, I would really have to look it up. I want to say the bonus frequency, according to the documents, is technically about the same. It doesn't seem like it, but it's technically about the same when it comes to bonus frequency. You do have some more benefits with that higher volatility, though, such as with the new version of pinball. usually the amount that you get within the bonus is a lot higher because you are betting a lot more. So that's also a benefit to that. But is there a difference in volatility? Yes, there is. They're two complete separate base games. New Pinball has a lot more virtual stops on the virtual reels. So yes, there is a difference in volatility on that one.
All right. Sorry, I was getting a little trigger happy with the mouse there. All right. And Sherry said, we were talking about this word earlier. It makes me crazy that people beat up the spin button to make it better. Ugh, please tell me it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I was playing a game last time I was in Aria, and somebody sat down and started doing that, and they do it loud too. The plastic, hitting the button. I had to get up and leave. It was that annoying. Yeah, it makes no difference. They're going to still do it. People just try to hurry up and get to the result. They don't even want to enjoy the slot game in front of them, and that's okay. Some people just like to play that way, but not for me, and it is kind of annoying, I'll be honest. And all right, let's see. Mike Willie says, or Wiley, when it comes to bonus games, is that triggered by the random number generator or on the reels, or is it predetermined like on a must hit? So the bonus game itself is triggered just like any other spin, but what happens after that will vary on the game. For free games, every single spin in the free games is a random event. Okay, so it is not made the determination at the time that you hit the bonus trigger. It will play out each of those games separately with individual spins. You're just not paying for them. The other thing that is different on those, though, is that in a lot of games, the actual what the random number generator is picking from will be different. So a good example of this is on Thunder Cash. On Thunder Cash, you can get stacked symbols that you can't get whenever you're playing normal reels. So the reels are actually different during that bonus game. And you will find that a lot on a lot of games. It will just play out a little bit differently, but it is still random on each of those spins. Now, a couple of other things, if you are in a picking bonus and you're picking machines, with the exception of some Every machines, if it flips around and shows you where everything was after you match 3, then it was predetermined. If it flips and shows you where everything was, you were in control. But if it doesn't, at the end of you matching 3, that means there doesn't matter what you picked. It was already decided. And lastly, I forgot what I was going to say. Shoot. Brain fart, guys. I forgot. There was a third thing. I'll come back to it. Brantley, let me put my thinking cap on. You go.
All right. We'll come back to you, Mark. We'll come back to you. $2 super sticker from Swedish Lab Rat. Thank you so much for that. We really do greatly appreciate it. And guys, everything we do here on the Cowboy Slot channel is 100% free. So we do greatly appreciate each and every one of you for the super chats, the super stickers. It really goes out to help us grow and to help fund fund projects, equipment, stuff like that. Our website, especially. We did just recently set up a new donation portal on the new website. If you are interested, I put that information in the chat window there. It's just ropethejackpot.com/donate. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys for your support. Mark, do you have your answer yet? Okay, do you remember?
Yeah,
all right.
Sorry, guys. So the last thing on the bonuses is that on some, like Dancing Drum's a perfect example of this, when you hit the free spins bonus, and you get to pick from like 5 or 6 different types of bonus rounds. Ones that are like minimum amount of lines or minimum amount of multipliers, but many more spins. And then on the other side, you have very few spins, but you have many more pay lines and many more, multipliers. That you are actually picking the volatility of those free games that are about to occur. So you are actually in control of how volatile you want those free games to be. If you're very risky, you're going to pick it on this side. If you're not so risky, you pick it on the other side. So that was the other thing I was going to mention.
All right. Very good. All right. Let's see here. Mike has a question here. Can a brand new slot machine on the floor without any money put into it yet technically hit the top line jackpot first spin? Yes, it can technically hit the jackpot, top line jackpot first spin. It is always a possibility. Has it happened before in the past? Probably none that I've seen, but it's probably happened before. Yes, it is possible. And Deborah Davis says, who sets the RNG on must hit slots? So for those must hit by progressives, the system, it's a separate random number generation that occurs within the system. What it is so if it if it's a must hit by progressive, it's say must hit by 10,000 and starts at 9,000. So you've got 9,000 through 10,000 and every number in between that. Every single number in between that is held within a random number generator. As soon as the progressive gets hit, that random number generator is going to kick in and it's going to pick one of those numbers. And it's going to just pick it, keep it, and hold it. And whenever that progressive gets to that number, it will trigger the jackpot to go off. So that's how those must hit buys work. So those must hit buys are still random, but the machine knows already ahead of time which number it's going to pay out on. That's why we say when you are looking at must hit by progressives to try to find the ones that are closest to that must hit by number. It's not that the odds have changed, it's that the system has already eliminated all of those smaller numbers underneath of that. So we really recommend, especially for those must hit buys, especially for those must hit by progressives, to really only play it if it's, if you see it above the halfway point in between, it's usually that's usually a good sign. And like Willie's saying here, I just won 3 minor progressives the other night just by walking my casino and play the machines closest to the must hit buys. Perfect. And that's exactly how you're supposed to play those games. So very, very good, guys. Really do appreciate that.
All right. And Chris Crocker says, why do casinos always give you special offers and free play that's only good during the week? The closest casino is 3 hours away, so it makes it hard for a working man to take advantage of them. Yes, this happens everywhere, and it's very simple. It is why there are taco places that do Taco Tuesday. There's reasons why they have specials at malls. Well, there really aren't any malls anymore, but department stores, etc. during the week and on, not on the weekend is because of traffic. There's just not enough people there. And so they're trying to fill it as much as they can. And so those offers are always better. And that's honestly why I go to Vegas during the week, because I usually will always get a free room during the week, where on the weekend, I may not get it. So definitely go during the week if you can. You're always going to get better offers. But understand that it's all economics to them. If they have a packed weekend every single weekend, it's going to be very difficult to get in there. WinStar is a good example of this. We got some offers from WinStar, and it's all staying during the week, not the weekend. We're just not popular enough, or we don't game there enough to be worthy of a free room on the weekend. So you just have to consider that. That's what they're trying to do. But very good question there, Chris. And Foxy Chick says, do VLT machines, and for those of you guys who may not have heard that before, it's called video lottery terminals. Have RNG in New York? How can I tell? Well, they do not have RNG. Like it's very complicated. When we talk about RNGs, we are talking about class 3 slot machines, and this excludes VLTs, VGTs, video game terminals, bingo, historic horse racing. All those things do not have RNGs on the actual slot machine themselves. They are playing some other kind of game that is run in the back where the server is. And so a virtual lottery terminal is basically a dumb machine that looks like a slot machine, but you're playing the lottery. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how they do it in that state. And a lot of states are like that. Washington State is the other one that is like that. But for other states, they have HHR, historic horse racing, where instead of a slot machine with the random number generator inside of it, you're just playing historic horse races. And so it's a little bit different. They look different. Again, like we always say, they're not really slot machines. They just look like it, but you're actually playing something else. And so no, in the state of New York, there are no RNGs in slot machines. You are playing lottery. And I think that's the case statewide. I'm not really sure on that, but if you know for sure they are VLT machines, that's what's going on. All right, back to you, Brantley.
All right. Yes, very good question. When it comes to things like VLT, horse racing, and all that, we get so many people that are confused by it because they look exactly like slot machines. Some of these games even have, like, especially in the Class 2 facilities, they have even the exact same game titles as a lot of slot machines. But basically all it is it is a machine that is generating a, pretty picture image or, real stops, just generating a display result of what's happening on the back end. So just always be cautious of that. Make sure to understand the different types. We do have an episode where we kind of break down how each of these work. And we do talk about VLTs in this episode. the title of it, if you go through the library, is called "What is a Slot Machine?" The answer might surprise you, and in that we talk in detail about exactly how lottery terminals work, horse racing machines work, bingo machines work. We talk about all of that in that episode. So again, that episode is called "What is a Slot Machine?" Go through the video library and check that out. All right, Paul PB. I have 1,000 in free play coming up in Vegas. I want to convert it into cash using a slot. Do you think Cherry Jubilee would be better than $10 to spend on Double Diamond? I honestly think it probably would. I mean, $1,000 through Cherry's Jubilee. I mean, you've got a pretty good chance of getting Cherry's Jubilee. Now, you could go through the 1,000 and not get Cherry's Jubilee. It's possible because it's still a slot machine, but to convert it to cash, I would think that Cherry's Jubilee would probably be a really, really good choice. Seattle CZQ, playing a game like Dancing Drums and the bowl closes. Is it my imagination, or does the lowest jackpot hit more often than the higher ones? Seems to me on all similar slots. So it is not your imagination. Those bonuses are heavily weighted to the lower options. You know, we always picture it like, picture a jar, a jar full of marbles, and you've got, 200 blue marbles, or let's say 200 green marbles to represent the mini. And then you might have, 50 in there to represent the minor, 3 to represent the major, and 1 to represent the grand. And that's exactly how that works. It's heavily weighted to have more, to choose the mini more and to choose the lower progressives a lot more. And Orzo was at my local casino and noticed the machine I was playing had a bingo card on it. In the corner stated the symbols and the reels were for entertainment purposes only. Is this a bingo machine? Yes, it is. We do have an episode that talks all about those bingo machines. Pretty recent episode as well. Go through and look for it in the video library. Just go through our most recent videos and scroll down and you'll see it. It talks all about bingo machines and how they work. So very good question, guys.
All right. And Bullet Bill 25 says, do casinos drop your monthly comp dollar amount if you play more often and give more comps to people that play not as often? What I will preface this by saying it largely depends on the casino and what their marketing plan is. But in general, yes, that is true. Because you got to think the reason that they give you comps is because they miss you. They want you to come back. They don't want you to go to another competing property. If you go there every weekend, you're not going to get good comps. You're just not, because the pattern, the computer has picked up that you're there anyway, so they don't need to entice you with free play. And they're not worried about losing you to a competitor either, because you're there every weekend. The host that I have talked to in Las Vegas says that for that property, anybody that is coming out of town, 3 months is the sweet spot where you get the most potential for your comps, because that's kind of where they get a little bit nervous that you're not going to come back to them and you haven't been there in a while, and so they will start to up your comps a little bit. But then eventually it could just drop off. They lose interest. They're never coming back. But it's all driven by a computer these days. They do kinds of crazy analysis on what your play style is like, how frequently you go, what kind of denominations do you play, how much coin in and coin out. Like, all of these factors go into determining this. And so it's a very complicated system, and it's not just a single answer for all casinos. But in general, yeah, if you go frequently, you're not going to get as good a comps. It just makes sense, right? All right. And Ricky Sue says, I'm a new subscriber. Found you a couple weeks ago. Well, welcome. Glad to have you. Awesome. Glad you're here for the live stream. I've been going through and watching all your videos and learned a lot. Just wanted to say wave and thank you for educating me. Well, you're very welcome, Ricky Suze. And you're probably at that moment. I get it too when I find a new channel that I love and I go to the video section. It's like, oh my God, I'm not going to sleep all night. I got to watch all this stuff. You're probably right there. And so, yeah, we hope you enjoy all the content that we have out there. We have, over 300 videos now, I think. We have a lot of videos there for you guys, and take advantage of it. And we hope you wish you the best and hope that you learn something and you continue to be a better gambler going forward, because that's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
Right,
and we do have a lot of new people in our chat with us today. So guys, welcome to all of you that are brand new to the channel. Since we do have a lot of new people in here, just wanted to quickly go through a couple of things. First of all, we do 3 different live streams a week. All of our live streams always take place at 7 p.m. Central, so we like to keep it easy We have our Sunday show, which our Sunday show is our Slots 101 show. So maybe if you're new to slots, if you're new to the channel, come on to the Slots 101 show. That's on Sundays. Mondays we have Member Mondays. So I know we had a couple of new people join in the memberships. YouTube membership is entirely optional. You do not need to be a YouTube member to participate in the Wednesday or Sunday show. But as an added bonus, we do give our members a show on Monday nights, also 7 p.m. Central. So if you are a new member, be sure to join us on Mondays. And then of course we have our Wednesday show, which is today, as always, 7 p.m. Central. Also, guys, I want to let you know, because this is the biggest thing, especially for new folks out there. Our website is a huge database of great information. And also, we have interactive forums and chats and communities on our website. We're actually the only channel that has that. So you can actually go onto our website and you can talk to people in your area. You can talk to people from around the world. We are very blessed to have IGT, the world's largest manufacturer of slot machines, actually participates in our forums. So you guys can actually go on there. You can ask questions directly to the manufacturer. We've got several businesses and casinos that also interact on that website. So, and it's 100% free. You never have to pay anything. It's all 100% free, and the website's open to the public. So even if you just wanted to go through and read information, you don't have to sign up for anything. You don't need any social media accounts, anything like that. So be sure to check out our website. And also, guys, don't forget, if you're on the West Coast, we have our event coming up. This is going to be a big event. This is our first actual live seminar. It's going to be in Canyonville, Oregon at the Seven Feathers Casino. You do have to register, but like everything we do here on this channel, it's 100% free. So registration is free, and if you can't make it, we're even going to live broadcast it, so those folks of you at home can watch the event live as well. But it's going to be a meet and greet. You can come in and ask questions live, and we're also at this event too, guys. We're going to have casino reps that are going to be in that event as well, answering your questions. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to register. It's April 16th. You can register on our website at ropethejackpot.com. All right. And going back to some questions here. Erwin Jackson, hello, gents. What will you do a video on Black Diamond or Crystal Star by Every? So we haven't done any live play on this, but it was actually included on part 2 of our best slots to play. We kind of did a little bit of detail on kind of its volatility and why it's a good machine to play, but it actually was included on our list of best slot machines to play, and that was in the part 2 video. But yeah, we will plan to do some live play on it and bring more excitement.
Doesn't Aria have a Black Diamond?
I think Aria does have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look it out next time we're there.
Yeah, next time we're there, we'll check it out. And how do you become a YouTube member? Is it the same as becoming a Patreon? So YouTube membership is something completely separate. We do not have any control over, accessing, anything with YouTube membership or anything like that. It is 100% optional, guys. The only thing that for YouTube members, it's there to help support our channel. And then also we give you that extra benefit of the Monday night members only live streams. There is a link in the description of every single video that we make that you could just click on the link and become a member. Or if you're on the main YouTube page, you'll see an option on the main YouTube page to join for the membership. But we really do appreciate that, guys. Very much so. Thank you very much. All right, I'll hand it back to Mark.
All right, sounds good. We have a $4.99 super chat from Money Mike. For dancing drums, when you pick the bonus game with your choice and number of reels, etc., is the amount you win predetermined no matter what you pick? Yeah, we were just talking about this. No, it is not. What is about to happen before you press and select one of those options on there is completely random. So you are in control over how risky you want to be during those free games. A lot of people go right to the riskiest option that you get like 3 spins, but with the gigantic reels, or you have like, I don't know, something like 300 different pay lines. A lot of people go to that because they want to push their luck, but it's random. It's not going to be the same depending on which you pick. It's not going to be the same outcome. So you get to decide what you want to do there. So thank you so much for your super chat, and thank you for the question. That was a good question. All right, let's go back to some other ones here. And Deborah says, when a slot machine is not being played, is it still going through its sequences? So if you're referring to the random number generator, yes. Machines, as soon as they are powered on, they are cycling through random numbers, about 4 billion every millisecond. I know it's kind of hard to imagine, but it is fast. These computers are really fast these days, and so that's how frequently it's spinning through those. And yeah, it is always cycling. There's no way that you can predict what the next number is going to be. Nobody can, because there's just such a large sample size, and it's down to the microsecond. So the moment you hit that button is when it stops and spits out a number. And then it goes right back to generating the numbers right after it does that. So very good question there. And Scott says, you always say don't feed the dragons, but I can't help it. That's okay. Very volatile, but so much fun when the bonus hits. Yes. Guys, we always try to say this, but listen, all slot machines are fun. Well, some, I would argue some aren't that much fun, but, all slot machines are, fun to the person that's playing them, okay? And there is nothing wrong with playing a high volatile game. There is nothing wrong with it. We just want you to have the right expectations, because most people have never heard the word. They don't understand what it means, and they just go straight to the penny machine that looks flashy and fun. Maybe it's game themed or TV or movie themed or something like that. And they just go right to that, not knowing what volatility is. And so they're not understanding what is happening to them, that they are playing a game that is very risky to play and will cycle through lots of bankroll before you have a potential of getting a big win. And a lot of people just don't understand that. But if you do know that from listening to us or looking it up or whatever the case is, if you do know that and you still want to play them, go for it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what to expect from it, right? And we also play a mix. We have played high volatility games before also, but we typically don't start with those. We start with the lower ones that are more consistent and more reliable in the long term until we build up a bankroll. And then if we want to go play one of those and push our luck, we will. But we know what's going on, and that's what we're trying to tell you guys. So yeah, nothing wrong with playing the dragons. I know we joke about it a lot here, but it's really important that you understand what you're getting into, and I think you do, because you know what you're doing there. So thank you so much, Scott, for the comment
maybe
there.
for April Fools we'll get Mark to play the dragons.
Oh God,
His favorite game.
my favorite. I love the dragons.
All right. The Twins, Las Vegas. My question is, when you walk into a casino and see nobody winning, does the casino have the machines tightened up? No, the machines do not get adjusted. They do not get tightened, loosened, anything like that. That is 100% a myth. And again, it kind of goes back to, what we mentioned earlier in the stream. It's impossible for any one person to see the entire operation of a casino in its day. There could be people winning, you just don't see it. It happens. Casinos, coming from somebody like I've worked at many casinos. I've worked all different types of shifts, morning, afternoons, evenings. And it's funny because I've had people before come up to me and say, this casino is so tight, I never win. And I'm literally in the middle of trying to process like 20 jackpots, and this person is saying that they're not going off. So no, the casinos don't tighten up machines or loosen machines. Again, when a machine is set, that setting is a very long-term projection. The casino's not going to mess with it, because any short-term messing with the percentages or anything like that, it's doing nothing to their numbers. A machine set at a lower payback percentage can still hit the top line jackpot. And we've Mark, do you want to put that link up really quick? Check this video.
Sure.
Check this video out. Mark's going to put the link up on the screen. It's a really, really cool demonstration that we did. ropethejackpot.com/slot payback, and that's a really, really great video. But other than that, very, very good question. Very good. OS slots are skill-based games worth playing. So we have some skill games here in Wyoming. So a lot of these skill games you'll find in either restaurants or bars. They're typically not in casinos. They're something entirely different. They can be. Typically, obviously the prizes are a lot lower on a lot of different skill games. But I've done well on them. I've played them, here in Wyoming, and I've done well on them. I would not dump a whole bunch of money into it. I wouldn't, take a whole casino budget into play, but like if you want to play like a couple $100 on it or something, you can still do pretty good on skill games. And we'll have to do a video on those skill games as well here in the future. Very good questions. All right, Mark.
Okay, and don't call me, I'm fishing. Well, hopefully you're taking a break to watch us. Unless you're on the boat with your phone, I guess you could be. Are machines connected with other machines in different casinos? Not the machines themselves, but the progressives might be. If it's a wide area progressive, meaning your Megabucks, your Wheel of Fortunes, uh, even in Las Vegas, some of the top dollars are connected to a wide area progressive. The progressive controller, again, I got to put up the box again. This is connected to multiple casinos through a network, but the machines themselves aren't, so you don't have to worry about that. And let's see. Willie has another question. How do you know if you should accept the top dollar offer? Well, here's my advice. All versions of Top Dollar will give you advice somewhere on the screen. You might have to wait about 20 seconds, but somewhere on there, and I can't really tell you where because it really depends on the machine, will give you a suggested play. Now, that is just based on overall averages of how the bonus rounds typically play out on Top Dollar. So if you are brand new to Top Dollar, my advice is to wait for that machine to give you advice and then do what it says. Okay? End of story. Don't try to get greedy or anything like that. Now, after you get more comfortable with Top Dollar and you start playing it more and more and you start to see all the possible bonus rounds and what you can potentially get in the bonus, you might actually not go with the advice. And then it's okay to kind of push your luck a little bit. But you got to learn the game first. It's one of the very few that you really need to learn it first to understand what the bonus rounds actually do before you start making those kinds of decisions. But like I said, go for the advice until you get more comfortable with it, and then you can be a little bit more risky. All right, and just one more real quick. Laurie says, additionally to Money Mike's question, which is the best free spin to pick if you get the bonus? So this is the dancing drums example. It's up to you. You need to decide how risky you want to be. There is really no better option. If you like to just have more spins but just have less potential for very big wins, then go with that route. But if you'd rather have fewer spins but the potential for some very big wins, then go that route. Honestly, if you can't make up your mind, you know where you go? Right in the middle. That's where I would go. But there is no one answer to that. There really isn't. It's really what you're feeling at the time.
It
All right,
depends
back to
on
you,
what.
Brantley.
Yeah, it also really depends on your budget and where you stand too. I did a short on this on TikTok and Facebook. Which, by the way, if you guys don't follow us on Facebook or TikTok, head on over there and give us a follow. And it really, to me, when picking the option of how many free spins, it depends on where I would be at in my budget. If I'm doing really well, if I'm up, if I'm winning, I would take a little bit more of a risk. I would choose like the 3 free games rather than as many spends. But like if I'm down or if I'm trying to really watch my budget or just trying to take it slow and easy, I would pick the most free spends or right in the middle. That's kind of what I recommended to do. All right. Vero says, rookie slot player here. Should I play penny machines or stick with quarters? Again, it really depends on your budget. Now, penny machines, we always say avoid the penny machines, and it's not necessarily because of it's not all about the return to player or the percentage or anything like that. The biggest issue with penny machines is on mostly all penny machines, you have to play a pretty substantial amount to make a difference. And when you start playing, eight, five, $8, $10 to spend, whatever, on a penny machine, you might as well be playing a $5 machine or a dollar machine. So that's why we say to avoid the penny machines, is because the bet amounts really are not conducive to the amount that you win, and it's really not a conducive way to build your bankroll. So I would stick with the highest denomination that your budget allows for. And then that's a good bingo. Says, since IGT participates on your website, how do we easily identify their machines so we can support them? IGT makes a lot of really, really great games. They make all of our favorites: Pinball, Top Dollar, Triple Double Diamonds, all of those. Most of the machines behind Mark are IGT. But most of your really, really popular titles, like Cleopatra, stuff like that, Cats, those are all going to be IGT titles. And you can always just look at the machine, the physical actual machine itself, for a name on it. But yes, IGT does make wonderful, wonderful games. And I'll take one more here, and then I'll hand it off to Mark from Judson. Pick me. Y'all guys are awesome. Have y'all played in Mississippi Gulf Coast? If so, what's the best casinos to play? Prayers for Mississippi and Nashville. I personally have not. Mark, have you?
No, actually, I haven't. I've stayed at Beau Rivage before, but I didn't play there. We were just there on a free trip. We had a little bit of free play, I think, but we didn't play much. But it was a nice place. But I think any of those casinos are fine. I mean, if it's a licensed and popular big casino, you're going to do fine in there. They're not going to have their odds set all the way down or anything crazy like that. So we would always recommend those. We haven't personally really played heavy there, so we can't really say, but I would feel comfortable going to any of those. All right, and I guess it's back to me here. Let's see. Okay. AZ Wife, Arizona Wife has a good question here. Why do the newer games not pay as much as the older? Example, Buffalo, the old one seems to have better payouts per bet. Volatility. That's what it is. Games are getting more and more volatile because the industry has learned people are willing to deal with it. They're willing to deal with those long rides of no wins with the potentials of very big wins. And so because of that, that is just the evolutionary cycle that we're in with these slot machines right now. And the only way that's going to change is if people stop playing those and go back to the old ones, which I just don't see happening in the future, unfortunately. So yeah, if you can find those older games, they are just overall better because the volatility, back then the public was very sensitive to that because they felt like the machine was just not, the machine was more consistent back then. And if they did go try to play a high volatile game, they'll think, wow, this machine is really set tight, and then they would just not play it. But over time, people started to get really big wins on these high volatile games, and people think, I want to be that person. But then they go in there and they play it, and it's a much different experience from playing those low volatility older games. And they don't realize that, yeah, you can get some very gigantic, huge jackpots on these games, like Huff and Puff and all these games, the new Buffaloes. You can get some very, very big wins, but it comes at a severe cost of trying to get to that potential. You can have a lot of losing spins or a lot of spins where you get barely your bet back, if even your bet back. And that's just the way it is. So that's what's going on there. That's why we're always directing people to try to find those older versions of the games if you can. The original Buffalo is very good. That is a very good one to play. All the ones that came after it, not so good. So thank you very much for your question, and back to you, Brantley.
All right. Okay. DP says, Brantley, what's the volatility on triple double dollars? It's pretty low. Triple double dollars is a really good game to play. It's going to be on the same par level as like your triple double diamonds. I would recommend it. Me personally, it's a good game to play. Leo says, "How much money have you guys lost?" LOL. Well, of course we've lost. We've lost money. I mean,
More than we've won.
Everybody that plays slots is loses money, guys. It's just it's natural. It comes with it. And that's the thing. The more you play slots, the longer you're in a casino, the more you're going to probably lose it and give it back. So we always recommend, that's why we teach you guys to, if you win, if you have a good day, get out of the casino, take that home, enjoy the win. Don't sit there and try to gamble it all back and put it all back in. And do slot technicians or slot attendants at the casinos know the RTP? The slot technicians will, yes, because this is part of their duties. It's part of their jobs. They will know that. The slot attendants can see it if they were to look for it. They can see it. It's in there. It's in the basic menus. All you have to do is turn the key and you can look at it. They can't change it, but you can look at it. The slot the slot technicians, they're going to know what the RTP is because, again, they're the ones that set that with the machines. And speaking of RTP, I'll take one more, then I'll hand it back to Mark. Roberto says, if you had knowledge of the actual RTP, i.e. the current, so this is basically what the present hold of the machine is, of a slot machine, and the number is either way over or way under expectation, should that influence your decision to play or not? No, it would not influence my decision to play it or not. And this is something where I have had the opportunity to see current RTPs of machines, and that does not affect your gameplay session, what the machine is currently at. I mean, even this machine here that I have at home, it can be either way over or way under, and the gameplay is still going to be the exact same. So to answer that question, no, it would not influence my my play at all. Mark?
All right. And I definitely agree with that. Stephanie Murphy says $20 super sticker. So thank you so much, Stephanie. Really appreciate your generosity. Thank you so much. All right. And Dorothy Porter says people are saying that Caesar's properties are very tight with their machines. Any thoughts? People say a lot of things. I assure you, Caesars is not any worse set than any of the other Las Vegas Strip casinos. They are going to stay in competition with all the rest of the Las Vegas Strip casinos, so I would not worry about that whatsoever. Just make sure you're picking the right machines. And again, you're going to have bad sessions. Like there are trips that we have where we do really well, and there's some that we do very poorly, and it's not because they have changed anything. It's just our timing just wasn't there that night, and it's going to happen. You know, it's going to happen. But it's not, and this is what casinos like. I think this is what they fear the most is people saying that their casino is very tight because somebody had a really bad session, or even a group of people had a really bad session. But it could be that those people are playing the wrong machines. They're playing those high volatility games, and so in perception it feels like they're really tight, but that's just the way the game is designed to play. Those types of things. So you really have to kind of take that as what it is, and until you go and experience it yourself, you don't really know if they're tight or not. But I assure you that they're in competition with everybody else, and they're going to stay very similar in payback percentage returns. All right, and Robert says, is it wise to use top dollar offers 40 credits and above as solid offers to take, and taking it as more of ammunition to play out to double or get higher offers, or when to take the side risks, etc.? Yeah, this is actually a good follow-up to what we just talked about with top dollar. If you're new to top dollar, always take the advice. But if you've played it a while, this is kind of like what Brantley was saying with the dancing drums picking the bonus. You know, if you're, let's say you're having a really good night and you're just way up, I'd get a 50 credit and I might even pass that up. You know, I wouldn't normally do that, but I might do it that time because I'm already doing really well and I want to push my risk a little bit. It's up to you. But 40 credits or more is pretty good on double top dollar and top dollar. Again, you really have to look at the version you're playing because there's so many versions out there and they all play a little bit differently. These new ones that are out with the 5 and 9 line double top dollar, those 40 credits is extremely low. So you have to go and figure it out for a while before you start really deciding. And that's why you should just take the advice of the game until you really learn it. All right, back to you, Brantley.
All right. And Rocky says, while at an Indian casino in Oklahoma early one morning, there were a handful of players there. They turned off all the bingo machines, and there were. Are there more jackpots on a bingo machine with less players? So, good question. Again, with the game of bingo, always, always, always remember, we cannot stress this enough. You are not playing slot machines. These are not slots at all. You're 100% playing the game of bingo. So, if you go into a casino that has bingo-based machines, you need to treat it like the game of bingo, not treat it like slot machines. Treat it like the game of bingo. Just like in the game of bingo, smaller crowd size means there's better potential for you to hit bingo before somebody else does. However, how the casino mitigates this is typically the prize amounts are lower when the crowd sizes are smaller. So if that makes sense. And a lot of times if you go to a casino, a bingo based facility, and there's not a lot of people there's not a lot of people playing, the machine will actually tell you waiting on other players. It will not let you play until there's a number of other players that you're able to play with, because you are playing with other people. And that's the biggest thing to always remember about those bingo facilities is do not, if I had to give one piece of advice for gambling at a class 2 bingo facility, it's do not treat it like a slot machine. Treat it like the game of bingo. And if you don't know how to play the game of bingo, go to an actual bingo hall and play a regular traditional game of bingo and research that game of bingo and how bingo is played out. The slot machine in front of you is essentially just a visual representation of what's going on with that bingo game in the back. So very good question. I hope that helps to clear it up. And I'll hand it off back to you, Mark.
All right, sounds good. And Michael Rain says, in regards to your guys' bankroll building method, does it make logical sense to start on a low volatile 50-cent machine with a 3 credit max bet as a substitute for 25-cent 5 credit max bet slots? That's kind of a wash, honestly. They're so close together with the what you're really focusing on is what your max bet size is. In that case, personally, I would pick if the 25-cent 5 credit is a 5 line game, I would probably pick that one over the 50-cent 3 credit, just personally, because I think you might see a little bit more action on it. The single pay lines, you get action on it, but again, you're just limiting yourself to one pay line, so you're just kind of hoping for the best. So really, the bankroll building method, guys, is really focused mostly on number one, picking those low volatility games, deciding what your budget is, deciding how many spins you're going to do, what your loss, what you're willing to accept as a loss on that machine that you're playing, and then setting the limit on when you're going to cash out. When you do all of those things, what if you're successful, then you move up a level and you go and you say go from 25 cent to 50 cent, where you take your overall average or your overall max bet up a notch. And then you do the same thing, because at that point you're playing off of winnings, not off of your budget, if that makes sense. That is what that whole thing is designed to do. And so you can really customize it. And Brantley covered this in the last update video that we did on this. You can really customize it to fit your needs. I would not get so worried on the weeds like that. Pick the game that you like playing better. In that case, because they're so similar and they're so close. It's not like you're comparing a $15 max bet to a dollar max bet. Those would be two different types of things. But anyway, good question. I wish you the best of luck out there with that method. All right, and let's see. Yeah, Sunil Patel says that 9-liner top dollar is a killer of the wall. Yeah, don't play that one. I can hear David Gamble Globe in here saying it's his favorite, but even he admits it's a killer on the wallet sometimes. So yeah, that's one to avoid for sure. And Slow Rollout says, what are your thoughts on the new electronic craps table? I haven't tried them, and I saw them at the casino, at the Caesars casinos. No felt. It looks like a TV screen on the deck. Here's the thing to keep in mind with these things, and we've mentioned this a couple times on the channel, is that all electronic versions of table games have to play out by law the exact same way the table game does. So when it's craps, the actual ability of the dice being rolled has to be completely random. The machine cannot say, hey, I'm set at 85% payback. I need to see if anybody's got some 7s out there, and then alter the dice so that it doesn't end up being a 7. No, they can't do that. It has to be completely random how the dice is thrown. Roulette table, the ball spinning around has to be completely random. Even if it's on a video monitor and the ball is a video representation of the ball, that still has to be random. What could be different on those is the payouts back to you when you get something. So I'm not that good at craps, but I'll give you an example on roulette. A straight up number on the table game pays you 35-1 odds, but on some versions of electronic roulette, it only pays 32-1. So that is where the payback percentage comes into play. But as for how the game actually plays out, it has to play out exactly like a dealer is spinning that ball or a player is throwing that dice. So I hope that helps a little bit. These will go more and more to no felt and all electronic screens and everything, but you should feel comfortable in knowing that the game actually has to play out exactly the same way as the table game version. So thank you so much, Slow Rollout, and I hope that helps you. Back to you, Ben.
And very well said, Mark. And we do have a $10 super chat here from Sue. Sue, thank you very much for that. Hey, guys, did you say playing a triple double stars 5-line is better than playing a 1-line? Thanks for your expert advice. Well, thank you very much for the super chat. First of all, we greatly appreciate it. In the case of that particular game, yes, a 5-line is going to be better. Now, here's the thing. Each line hit is going to pay less than a single line will, but you have a lot better chance of hitting something. It's more of a consistent gameplay experience on the 5-line. This is kind of also playing into where we've said in the past about how lines get tricky when we're talking about lines, because some games it can be good, some games it can be bad. In this particular example, 5-line would be more beneficial to you over a single line version. And thank you very much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. All right. Love the channel. Why do casinos shut down a slot machine for days, especially ones that are hot or just paid a jackpot? Sometimes I would try and play the same slot, but still offline days later. So slot machines do not run hot or cold. They do not run hot or cold. As for the casinos shutting machines down, there's several different reasons why this could be a thing. It is not based at all because they've hit a jackpot. There's only one time that if a jackpot hits that the casino has to shut it off, and that's typically with a wide area progressive because they have to wait for gaming or the manufacturer to come out and verify it. That would be the only exception to this. Most of the time, the machines will get shut down if the casino is planning on moving them. That's the most common thing. If the casino has a work order in to move them, say they're getting a new game and they need to move this bank over here to move another bank in its place, that is the most common reason why they get shut off. Individual machines can get shut off if they're waiting for parts. And guys, parts are behind right now. They really are behind. Some of these casinos will order a new bill validator and they'll wait 3-4 weeks to get. Yeah. So that's really the main reason. It is not, the casinos do not shut them down because, they're paying too much or somebody just won or anything like that. It's typically another reason. And Chillin' 185, I saw on TikTok a woman taking tickets out of the machine. Tickets have cents on it or dollars from what people left in the machine. Some say it's legal. Some say you could be arrested. What's your take? In every casino that I have worked for, it is 100% considered theft. You will be arrested. Do not do that at all. At all. And for her to be putting it on TikTok, I mean, people do a lot of dumb shit on TikTok, but that's pretty dumb.
Don't accept that challenge.
Don't do that, guys. Do not do that. Majority of places, it is considered theft from the casino. The money that gets left in the machines that casino employees will cash out typically goes into a donation fund for usually charities. So like the casino that I worked at, we did a lot of donations for the local tribe, and like if people would leave like a couple cents here and there, it would go into a fund and that would get donated. So yeah, do not take tickets out of the machines. Do not take tickets out of the machines. And we have a couple more super chats coming in. $5 super chat here. Starting a funding pot for Mark to play and / record a session of feeding the dragons. Don't feed the dragons. Well, there we go. That's one way.
I'll do
Mark.
a $5 spin.
All right, Mark will have to do a $5 spin on the dragons now, just for that. And John, $5 super chat from John. I play online. Like your suggestion of double diamond is volatility, the same as the machine. Why is there no top dollar or other suggested game? So we've covered this a couple times. With online games, they are online games that look like slot machines. They are not slot machines. They do not work the same way. They do not use a random number generator the same way. They are not programmed the same way. They're not slot machines. They are just a game that is designed to look like a slot machine. That's why we don't recommend playing them. Do people win on them? Yes, people can still win on them, but you cannot utilize other, tips for actual in-person casino experiences online. It will not work. So yeah, I would, we never recommend playing online, but if you are going to play online, play what is within your budget and comfortable to you. But it is, again, you really cannot gauge volatility on an online slot. But thank you guys very much for those super chats. Really do appreciate it. And back to you, Mark.
All right, sounds good. And Chris says, once I won at Bellagio $3,200, I stopped playing and left. Heck yeah. I had 2 more days on my vacation. I played no slots. Man, brother, you have some willpower, man. We all need some more of that. Went to Vegas with $3,200 and left with $5,300. That is the way to do it, guys. And I can't tell you, I'm sure Chris knows this, that is very difficult to do. It is hard, especially if you just get there and you hit some good money. It is hard to just say, I'm not going to gamble the rest of the trip. It's one of the hardest things for people to do, and that's why we never recommend you stay in Vegas for too long, because ultimately that could be what happens. But that is a good lesson to all of us, and we should all be more like Chris and get that 3,200 and just stop, and just don't put it back in. And like we said in one of the recent videos, I think people actually don't really understand or realize how much money they actually win. It's just that they keep putting it back in. And so at the end of the day, you just don't have much left. But you actually did win a lot of money, right? And then Sunil says, I stalk machines, prey on others who feed it. Well, again, it doesn't matter how much a machine has been fed. That makes no determination on what the machine is going to perform like later on. The only time I would say to, in quotes, stalk a machine is if those must hit by progressives are very close to hitting. And if you're able to snag a chair, when you see it's open, that's a good time to stalk the machine and play it. But other than that, it's not doing you any good. If somebody put 10 grand through a machine, it does not mean that it needs to pay out 10 grand by the end of the day. That's not how they work. So that stalking doesn't really help in that scenario. And one more here. Stephanie Murphy says, I play the 10 times slots. Why is it I can play one day and hit multiple jackpots and go back the next day and get no hand pays? Sucks money's hours on end. It's like the machine has been programmed not to pay. The machine has not changed whatsoever. You are playing a high volatility game. That is the way it's designed to play out. 10 times pay is very notorious for being very difficult to hit. And the reason is because it's a 10 times multiplier. If you think about it, even when you get 3 single bars and that pays 10 credits, with that 10 times multiplier, that jumps to 100. So it cannot pay that as frequently as, say, a double diamond and 2 single bars, because that only pays 20 credits, right? Or 30 credits or 40 credits, much lower. And so what you are experiencing here is volatility at play, not the machine's odds being changed at all. Our recommendation is not to play that slot. In the long run, you are going to lose on that slot big time. That type of slot, the pays are for a very few select people. And in between, it's going to be rotten. You'll maybe get a cherry. If you're lucky, you'll get a 10 times pay and a cherry, but that's going to be pretty much it for the large majority of spins that you do on that machine. So I hope that helps you out a little bit, Stephanie. Try to go down to a triple stars or a triple diamond or a double diamond. I think you'll find it'll be a little bit more consistent and more reliable every trip that you go to. All right, back to you, Brantley.
Very good. All right. We do have a $20 super chat here from Keith. Keith, thank you very much. Really do appreciate that. Love your content. My best jackpot so far was $4,000 at MGM Grand last December on a 3-coin pinball, $25 denom. Question, 3 credit pinball with 5 spin or 2 credit version with 4 spins? Which do you prefer and why? And pay line hits are the same. So this is 100% a personal preference. The bonus frequency is the same. The game is going to act the same. Everything is pretty much going to be the same. I like the 3 credit version of pinball because I like getting the extra shot. Mark likes the 2 credit version of pinball. It really is 100% personal preference on that. Bonus frequency is going to be the same. At the really, really high denom, like if I was playing a $100 pinball, $100 denom pinball, I would play 2 credit. But lower denom, $10, $20, I would do 3 credit on that. So again, 100% personal preference on that one. And also, guys, we'll take a couple more questions here, and then we are at just about an hour and 30 minutes, so we will start to wrap up. If we were not able to get to your question today, as a reminder, check out our website. It's 100% free to use, ropethejackpot.com/chat. Also, don't forget about that special event that's coming up in just 2 weeks on April 16th in Canyonville, Oregon at the Seven Feathers Casino. You do have to register. You can register online at ropethejackpot.com. It is 100% totally free. All right, Roberto says, does the size of the grand jackpot really affect the base game payback percentage in any meaningful way, given the rarity of the prize in the first place? Good question. No, it does not. The size of the grand jackpot really doesn't affect the actual payback percentage. It mostly is going to depend on the game. It's going to depend on the actual game itself. But no, the payback percentage would not be affected by the size of the actual grand jackpot. And Jimmy says, why is the lever/handle locked at times on machines and sometimes not? So this is mostly a maintenance issue. Those the solenoid inside of the machine that's connected to the handle, it does break on occasion, and a lot of times it's easier for the casino just to lock it and not use the handle, because a lot of times that handle can stick and so on and so forth. So it's mostly just a maintenance issue when it comes to the actual handle locking on the machine. Very good questions, guys. All right, Mark, I'll let you take a couple, and then we will round out the Wednesday show.
All right, sounds good. And another Mark B. Another top dollar question. When you get the bonus, are all 4 offers already determined, or is it random offer generated each time? It is completely random each time. I know people cannot believe this, but Top Dollar does not punish you by passing up a good offer. Every single offer is completely random. I've seen the 1,000 credits on all 4 offers. It can happen anywhere. And actually, we had a lot of Top Dollar questions tonight, guys. We actually did a video, and I just set up a link for you guys. If you go to ropethejackpot.com/Top Dollar, it'll take you to one of the videos we did where we taught you everything there is to know about Top Dollar. At least up to the point that we did that video. There's some more information we need to add for these newer ones, but if you really want to learn Top Dollar and what it, like questions like this and how it actually works and plays out, that's a good video. So ropethejackpot.com/top dollar. All right, and Slow Roll Out, a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Love your content. Thanks. Well, thank you so much for being here, Slow Roll Out. We haven't seen you before, so I guess you're new. So thanks for joining the show tonight, and welcome aboard. Welcome to the family.
All right, guys. Well, that will conclude our Wednesday Night Slots Advanced Show, Episode 7. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out and joining us today and for participating. If we did miss your question, you can always ask your questions 24/7, talk to locals in your area, and do so much more, all for free on our website at ropethejackpot.com/chat. As a couple reminders, our live streams always take place at 7 p.m. on 7 p.m. Central Time on Sundays and Wednesdays. And don't forget, if you are a member, we had a lot of new members join in today to join us for Member Monday, which takes place Monday evening at 7 p.m. Central. And as Chris said here, if you haven't yet, please smash that thumbs up button on your way out. We would greatly appreciate that. It's free, fast, and easy. If you're on your mobile device, you just have to scroll out of your live chat window, and then you can hit that thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate that. And also, one quick thing that I did not that we forgot to mention: next week on Wednesday, there will not be a live show next week on Wednesday. Mark and I are both going to be traveling, and we will be busy. So next week on Wednesday, there will not be a live show. Our next live stream is going to be Sunday at 7 p.m. Central. Guys, we really appreciate each and every one of you for coming out today. As always, best of luck, stay safe, and we'll see you again next episode. Take care, guys.
Have a good rest of your week.